Most business owner, what happened is that they constantly are working and never really work out of their business, whereby the business will run itself. The business is actually kind of like investment account. It's just constantly making you money. If you don't know me yet, my name is Phyllis. What we're going to be teaching all the people in the community how to use your virtual assistant. At the same time, also, how do you run a business that works for you, right? How do you create the business system that works for you? I have been in business for about 20 years. First 10 years, I work about 80 hours a week, right? And I make way less than what I'm making right now. And I really realized that common sense is really not so common. And a lot of things I really don't know what I don't know. And I really wanted to just really share with you, like, quote unquote, what is the right way of running a business. You most likely have already run a really good business. Then this will be kind of like an additional, like a resource page for you, right? To figure out how would this work really well for you. And on top of that, if you're like, man, I already got this thing done, but you kind of really like the way that I run business, you can also share this with your COO or your executive assistant. So at least they know like where you're going. One of the biggest piece that automate my business is that I started to buy courses that I really like, but I don't learn from those courses anymore. I actually let my virtual assistant learn them so that they can implement it. So at least it saved me minimum of 10 to 20 to sometimes 50 hours of learning. Then it's also better for the VAs because they get directly from the source instead of me, right, learning it and then translate to what I thought I know, right, into them. And I realized that it was really not effective. And this could technically serve as that, whether you get your VA to study it so that way they kind of understand where you are going, or it serves for you to really think about all these things, because I have experience that I make my first million in less than a year and a half. I also have experience where at the very beginning, I tip it toe, where I test out the water. I went to India, no tech, no communication with my team. I was gone for a month. And then right after that, unfortunately, system was proven already, but my husband actually fell and I was about 3 months off to take care of him. And then afterwards, my father-in-law passed away on the vacation where we are trying to heal from my husband's situation. And he was passing, and that kind of made me lost another like 3 months. And then when I review for that full year, which is actually 2023, not that long ago, I feel like I lost about 8 months of my life because there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame. My core belief got shook up. I don't know what to do, how to do things, because I thought I was in control, right? But actually life really gives you what you can handle, but they are all very unexpected. But thank God, right? Like I have a system that is already set up, is automated, quote unquote, I have my dream life already, which I never really realized that I do. And I think God was kind of funny because when the whole thing happened, I realized that if God is giving me a stress test, I passed with flying colors. I'm very good at handling stress. But this time around, he's not really giving me a stress test. He's actually giving me a blessed test to let me realize that there's a lot of people who really care about me. And my business, right, this time around, it really tells me that my business is running itself and I really do not have to worry about it anymore. I don't have to get to be nervous anymore, which I used to have. I used to have really bad anxiety on Sunday night before Monday come because I'm just so worried about what's going to happen. What am I going to do that I fail? What time do I have to spend on fixing problems? And nowadays, I don't really have to do that anymore. And this beginning of the year, I actually took about 2 months to almost 3 months off. Actually, it's starting from November till February. I took a full 3 months off to really go real vacation with my family. What am I trying to do is to really test out my company system so that moving forward, I'm no longer tied down to the business. And because of all the life that has been happening to me, the voice inside of me of the why, like why I really want to teach you how to run an automate system, why a system-based business is really important, why running your dream life is very important. I wanted to give you some powerful questions for you to kind of deep dive and have like deeper reflection of, are you running the right business or not? But what it is give me 12 months and I will give you 3 months back. I want you to run a business that will make you money whether or not you work. This is called the Freedom Maker Framework. I combine it with 3 C's, right? The number one thing is clarity. When I was running my first 10 years of my business, I have no clarity at all. All I do is in a very reactive mode. I just solve one problem at a time. I just do one extra system at a time. I never really know what I want. I never really know what kind of dream life I want until I almost got into a divorce with my husband and I joined Tony Robbins and learned from Tony Robbins. And I was like, I feel like I was woken up. It's like, I have no clarity in my life. I don't know what his happiness. I don't know what kind of food I like. I really have no clue about everything in my life. I feel like I was walking as a zombie for 38 years of my life. And because of that, I shifted my whole life and ultimately I saved my life and my business. And that's why I think clarity is really big key. And if you don't know it all, love you to hang out with us for this journey. But ultimately, the goal is to allow you to run your dream life after a year. And the second one is after you get your clarity in yourself, business, and relationship, you want to create, right? Because now you know exactly the life that you want. And you want to create your team, you want to create your system, you want to create your KPI. And surprisingly, I work with a coach, who has 200 million in revenue. And he say 85% of the business owner that I coach have no KPI. They have no clue whether they are doing well or not. They have no idea what their P&L is. And number 3 is communication, right? How do you communicate with yourself? I noticed that I was really harsh on myself, to be honest with you. And that's the reason why my business doesn't grow, because I was yelling at myself internally. So I couldn't grow my business because I just don't think I'm good enough. Right? And how do you communicate with other people? And this time thing, it's a little bit more advanced on one of the topic, but it was so helpful to me when I shifted my mindset and shifted my identity when I communicate with myself. With this 3 C's framework, I just want to share with you what I learned. And the goal is we all deserve freedom. We all deserve to live the dream life. Life is short. You don't know when is your expiration date where you go out to your afterlife. So I know that my mission, what the universe God wanted to bring me down to, is to share with you passionately about what I have learned and know, so that you can do a whole lot less and still get a lot more.